retail architecture, and we are now joined by Frenjick Quesada. He is the principal designer of Design HQ. That's such a cool name. HQ doesn't even mean headquarters. It means
Hirayama Quesada.
Yeah, that's you and your partner. Yeah, you are an interior designer by profession. You're not an architect.
No.
This is what I learned when we were chatting before we came on. That you can either go with an architect or an interior designer, but it's more important if it's a standalone store. So I guess have an architect to build
the
it
shelf.
out.
Yes, that's right.
Pero if it's just like you just want to change the look, or if it's in a mall where you're already assigned space, well, it's an interior design, diba? And this is what from the get-go, from the time you finished your schooling in PIID, you're teaching there still, by the way. You knew you wanted to do retail retail design.
Yes, retail was very, very interesting to me because actually I have a degree in accounting, and I worked in P&G and SG.
So I went back to school na lang for the interior.
So it's a nice balance between business and design.
It's useful, everything that you did before.
Yes,
Kasi yun na nga, as I mentioned in the beginning, it's like enterprise and design, they're put together, diba?
Yes. So it's nice talking to the clients and understanding the business side, because on your end, you're trying to translate their business objectives with your design.
Yeah, that's it. Is that also what you teach now?
Yes, in fact, we do some retail design as well as the business of interior design in the Philippine School of Interior Design.
So in a nutshell, I don't know if it's possible, but how do you differentiate designing for a home and designing for a store?
Well, for a store, I think the challenge, like for a home, obviously, it's for the homeowners, for their definition of their ideal home. For a store, it's more for the customer to enter the store and have a memorable shopping experience. So memorable in a sense that a retail design is always in the context of your clients and their competitors, because it's business, so they have different people offering the same product.
Right.
So the definition of the design is not only nice and appealing to the client, but also memorable, meaning it's unique for the brand it stands for. So the idea is when someone goes into the store, when you come out, you remember that I shopped at this brand, because that's what they're after, not just selling, but to have a loyal customer base.
Does this mean, Frederick, that sometimes you personally have to forget about your personal, I guess,
definitely.
Definitely. Yeah, because if you're not a target market, then it cannot. If it doesn't necessarily appeal to you, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't use it for this particular store.
Yes, you said it perfectly. In fact, I even tell my students, the first thing you have to learn about commercial design in retail is that it's not about the designer, it's not about you. It's about your brand, who is your client, and their target market. So, for example, I've designed for technical cell phone brands, and I'm not really a technical person, so I have to understand who is their target market, as well as very feminine brands for working ladies who are yuppies, and you have to understand their psyche.
Yeah,
and
so it's not, you really need it. Parang forget about your own preference.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's probably tough in the beginning, right? Something you have to get yourself used to.
Yes, that's true, because at the start in the design, you'd like to express yourself.
Oh, diba? Exactly what's pretty to you, diba?
Yeah. But then now you have to start thinking about how do you express your client's aesthetic that will appeal to the target market.
Yeah. Like you said, kanina, dami mong boss, dami mong isip, yung kliyente mo, tapos yung, diba? The stores that you have done, the very popular stores, Folded and Hung, we do a lot of, these are a lot of local brands, a lot of local brands. What's exciting about the retail market now is that, everything's globalized, right? You have all these imported brands. And what's important for the local retail architects and interior designers is that we actually help the local brands become competitive with these world-class brands, because they come to us with spectacularly designed stores, and while the local players will have to compete with them, and that's why I think that we're doing quite well. The local architects and interior designers are coming up with looks that are at par, if not sometimes even better than their international counterparts, which is needed because now when you stroll through a mall, right beside the local brand, you'll see an imported brand, and
that's all part of the retail game.
And you're right, if you don't look long enough, you will not realize that it is a made in the Philippines brand, competing against an internationally renowned brand, because you're able to present it in a way that it's parang wow, globally competitive.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that. Yeah, a client of mine even said after we redesigned their store, Soda, one of their customers asked them, Imported ba to? But actually, they've been a local brand for so long.
Oh. And kanina, I was asking our first guest, how they characterize Pinoy shoppers and how you appeal to them. Europeans, they said they like the monochromatic. And ikaw, do you agree that Pinoy still like the loud, colorful displays, or nag-iiba na rin?
Well, I think that the Filipino consumer is very exposed to different looks. So depending on the target market, obviously the higher the target market, the more they've traveled, right? And I think it's also the other way around. Like the international brands are exposing the local market with these more advanced designs, such that they're also educated. So all in all, our retail market is so robust that.
Yeah, grabe ang looking at this. These are all yours. Parang ka pumapasok ng bahay, no?
Yes.
It has doors, and it has, the walls have texture, ganyan.
Yes, this is Jelly Bean.
Yeah.
It was made for a target market of a young working lady. So the idea was exactly that. You should feel like you're entering the house of a Jelly Bean lady. And we pegged her as sophisticated, a lady who goes about town.
Yeah.
So
does it smell good in that store also? You do that na rin?
Yes, of course. As Georgina said,
so
scent is the next.
I know.
It's the next scent to conquer.
Yeah, it really is. First store, like folded and hung. I mean, the store name suggests that things are folded and hung. I guess you have to work with that too, huh?
Yes, obviously. So as you see in this picture, what's unique about this store is that they appeal to both men and women because they have a men and lady section. Therefore, the design has to be a bit androgynous or unisex. So we use some clean lines for this. And aside from that, they're also known to have like top endorsers.
I was going to ask you. Yeah. It seems like the pictures of the endorsers are getting bigger and bigger. They fill the entire wall already.
Yeah.
You find that this appeals to the consumer?
Yes, definitely, because these their endorsers obviously bring in a lot of business for them.
And that's going to pay them what you pay them.
Yes, exactly. And as a designer, you have to know if a client has an endorser, because you can't just design your store based on the aesthetic, but also keeping in mind that this is actually a selling point. If they see the face, let's say, of a famous artist there, it will actually pull in. So for Folded and Hung, since they're known for their very strong campaigns, we always make it a point that they have a billboard-sized poster of their current endorser.
What is the biggest challenge for you? I mean, if there's something that you don't look forward to when meeting with your client or when you're trying to finish a project, what is it?
Well, I guess the challenge with clients to say, because what's interesting about my job is I meet different types of businessmen, and one thing they have in common, they're very confident, and they know what they want. They know what they want. While they hire me to get our sound advice, there are times that it takes some prodding to convince them based on the experience that we have. And usually that's the challenge, to collaborate very well. And so far, it works very well because they hire you for a reason and they listen.
And then they renovate, which is a great thing, because then you get to do their stores all over. Frenjick, we'll have you again after this break. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to have your questions and comments after the break. Stay tuned. Shoptalk will be right back.